everyone. My name is Andrea, the founder of Altitude Connections. Welcome to our Power Lunch Friday Live. Today we will be showcasing Sheli Stevens, a farm girl from Oregon. Sheli's talent and sense of adventure have taken her around the world. That is why she is a world-class performer. Singing from the age of 3, she took advantage of every opportunity to perform. After excelling in her performing arts high school music program, Sheli continued her training at a music school in Finland, where she studied classical singing, piano, flute, and drums. In her early 20s, she toured the world with the Young American Song Dance Company and later landed lead vocalist headliner position on various REGENCY cruise ships from Alaska to Aruba. From 2000 to 2022, she was the celebrated lead vocalist in the band 1945. After 22 years, Sheli has now struck out on her own, establishing herself as an entrepreneur and standalone world-class vocalist. She performs with only the top musicians. Her various bands offer a wide range of styles and selection to suit clients' needs. Everyone, welcome Sheli. Welcome, Sheli. Hello.
Hello. Thank you,
You're
Andrea,
welcome.
for having
It's my
me.
pleasure. All right, so I'm going to go straight to the little interview or questions for everyone to know what you do exactly.
Super.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and who is Sheli?
Well, like you said before, I'm a farm girl at heart. I grew up in a small town called Boring, Oregon, on a farm. We had raspberries and boysenberries and blackberries and marionberries. And I grew up free. I grew up climbing trees and swimming in rivers and having a blast. So that's who I still am. I'm a farm girl. But I've always kind of did half and half in the city. So yeah, I grew up in a very small town, but at 13 was able to move to the big city where I had a lot more opportunities, bigger shows, bigger opportunities, and then I was chosen to represent my school as the Rose Festival Princess. So that opened the doors to other things, because when we were doing the and that was it. He was like, "Sure, come on down." And yeah, it was a really great experience. There was like, but I think there was about 45 states represented in the Young Americans. So we all came from all over the states, and we trained in Southern California. So I lived there for 8 years, and then we toured around the states, and we even got to go to Japan. So I learned everything I know in that group. I use it all the time.
Really?
So it was a fantastic
So you really
training.
implement what you learned in that session, in that group.
Fantastic life adventure with that group.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So then after that,
is your background in music?
What?
Like before that?
Absolutely. Like
Okay.
my parents are both musical. They're artists. I grew up in the very kind of like the hippie 70s, right? And in Oregon. So they both love music, and there was a lot of performing in my family. So at church, in the living room, they would just stand me up on the piano bench, and I would sing to whatever was on TV. So yeah, I have come from a very musical background and studied music all through high school.
Okay, so not only your background is in music, you studied music, and what kept you in that field? Did you have a drive? It was your feelings? It was what would you say your passion came from?
I think that music and singing and performing was always what I wanted to do. There was never any other choice for me.
Okay.
And because the doors just kept opening, and I just followed my heart. And my parents were very supportive, so it wasn't
Mm.
like maybe you should think. No, they're just like, do it, go
Go
for
for
it.
it.
So
Well, they
I
heard
was
the they
blessed.
heard the magic in your voice, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They said, "Oh, Shelley's always singing," and I used to get in trouble when I was working at restaurants because I would
Oh,
sing like I'd take the plate and I'd whistle or sing. They're like, "Shh, you can't sing." I was like, I can't stop myself. Even after our gigs, like after a 5-hour gig, I'll sing in the dressing room while I'm packing up. They're like, "Shelley, the show's over,"
oh,
but it's never over in my
it's
mind.
never over in your mind because you have it in your mind, you have it in your heart. It's
I
just
love
who
it.
you are. It's
Yeah.
just who you are. That's amazing. And so, what kind of music do you perform, Shelley?
Well, as they say in the business, soup to nuts. That means a little bit of everything.
A little
Be-
bit of everything,
Yeah,
really.
because I started with musical theater in high school. That was what, the main productions were all about. But I also was studying, I had a trio that was doing Andrew sister music. So stuff from the 40s. And
Okay.
then when I was in Finland, I took classical training. So I sang more classical music. And then the Young Americans was a mix of like musical theater and just modern kind of popular music. And then with 1945 and the corporate bands that I've been working with, that's what they say, soup to nuts. So you could start the evening with something like Diana Krall, and then you're
Hmm.
ending up with like Lady Gaga, Born This Way, like
Oh,
which is a
wow.
really high. So it's I mean, and then everything in between, Michael Jackson and all the other genres.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
you basically you can sing everything. You could perform everything. Well, then let me change the question around. What is something you can't sing or you stay away from?
good question. I would say like heavy metal. That would be the
Okay.
only thing that I wouldn't. It doesn't draw me in. But I do like rock. I like hard rock too. And there's some amazing female vocalists like Evanescence that really like kill it. So that's amazing for me. So it's like I get to be all these different kinds of people,
Right.
and every song has a different story. So
Mm-hmm. You
that's
could
what's
play
so
different
amazing.
roles.
Yeah,
Yes, and you feel it.
exactly.
And do you use your emotions when you sing? I
A-
wonder. You
Absolutely.
do, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what the story is. And some people say, how can you do the same songs over all those years? For me, it was like, how can I connect deeper to the audience? How can I make them feel what I'm feeling?
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
for me, it's
Yeah.
like a real adventure to say, okay, so how can I use my body to make the story come alive more, or my eyes, or what am I thinking about to really bring the song to life?
Okay. So
So
you really put your whole self
I
into the
do,
moment every time you sing.
I do.
Okay, that's
I
great.
no, I'm not often on autopilot. Sometimes it happens where I'm saying, is this the last course already? Like, how did I get here?
Oh,
You know?
wow.
But sometimes when you do songs for so long, they become so natural that you
They
just get lost
flow.
in them
They
sometimes.
flow
Yeah,
easily.
you get lost.
You get lost and they flow easily, of course. Yeah, you're right. Well, we all know we went through a pandemic. So I am wondering, how did COVID impact your work? Because you're a
Well,
performer, so you don't, you perform live. So we
you
didn't
can
have to do live
imagine.
events. I could
You
just
can
imagine.
imagine because
So I had to ask this question.
yeah,
So how did
you
COVID
live,
impact you?
you live the same thing as I did and so many people in the service industry. So I've been full time singing. I never had a day job. So I always had like, 50, 60 gigs a year with the bands that I was working with. And then after COVID, it just all stopped completely. And that was a horrible feeling. And, like everybody else, we panicked. We didn't know what to do. And I just happened to be lucky that COVID was actually a blessing for me because it gave me the time and the opportunity, and I had the energy to rebuild like a parallel profession to my singing. So that became vocal coaching.
Okay.
So, and I'm so happy I had this opportunity, because I really found really what my true mission is in life.
That's nice.
Because as a performer, you you can touch people on a certain level.
Right.
You can make them smile or forget their problems, and they go away happy and they're like, wow, that was a great night.
Uh-huh.
But as a coach, a vocal coach, what I'm doing is transformational. So I really feel like I'm helping people change and evolve into who they want to be by giving them the tools to become more self-confident and courageous and be able to stand up for themselves. They find their authentic voice. My purpose, and it's so fulfilling.
Okay, so other than performing, you're a coach.
I'm a vocal
You're a
coach
vocal
now. Yes.
coach. Okay.
And
Oh, wow.
not just privately. Sorry, I guess I wasn't clear. It's also
Yes.
clear in my
Now tell
mind.
us, okay, yeah, tell us, other than performing, what performing is obviously your full-time
That's it.
career. What else you do? I know I read in your bio you did the vocal coach,
That's
and then
right.
there's the stagecraft, which you could tell us about it after. Is that the
Absolutely.
same? Is that the same?
Absolutely. Yes, that's the same.
Okay.
So just to be clear, during COVID, I was able to build my stagecraft vocal and performance coaching company. And I started with online students because
Okay.
everything was on Zoom. So I learned I'm a technological genius now. Before I used to bring my shoes and my dress, like when, where, and now it's like I do everything. So it's
Okay.
great. It's very, very empowering. But so I started with online classes and built my website and started to really just enjoy what I was doing and seeing the changes that I can make in people's
Mm-hmm.
lives. So I really had a great experience with that. And then after the schools opened, I was able to get some contracts in the schools in Laval to do after school song and dance programs with
Wow.
the elementary school kids. So I was doing pre-K to sixth grade in some of the elementary schools. Then now I have a junior high and a senior high.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Okay. COVID did
yeah,
you good, girl.
yeah. So, I mean, last year I had 60 kids in my after school classes from pre-K to Sec 5, and I just love it, like
So these kids
it's so much
sign
fun.
up to, that's great. So these kids sign up to vocal coaching. Do they know what they're going to learn?
Uh,
What do they
uh,
do exactly? Give us an
well,
example.
yeah, exactly. So I usually have between 15 and 20 kids in a class, which is quite large, but
Yes.
um, I really like them to get out of their normal square box that they're in school. In school they got to sit down, they got to be quiet, don't cause a commotion, don't draw attention to
Right.
yourself. But in my class, I'm like, let's be big, let's be crazy. We do freeze dances, we work on big poses. We're so silly, we laugh a lot. And
Oh,
so I teach them two group song and dance numbers,
okay.
and then I encourage them all to do a solo. So at the end
Hmm.
of 8 weeks, and they come in like, I can't, and then all of a sudden they're like, I gotta like drag
I
them
need
off
to
the
take the
stage.
floor here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Great.
And some of the shy ones watch some of the other kids that are more extroverted, and then they just all become one beautiful explosion. So it's very, very cool to watch
Oh,
how
wow.
much can happen in 8 weeks.
Of course.
You know,
That
but
must be
kids,
fulfilling.
oh, it's amazing. And not just with the kids, like I have my private students too. And some of them, like my oldest one was 95. She's still alive, but she's my most famous one. She was in the New York Times. They did a biography on her. She
No.
recorded. She was on Good Morning America. She recorded a demo, and so
Wow.
and then my youngest ones are 5. So it's like everyone can get something that they need because I'm really tailoring m- my, my coaching to what their dreams are and what their level is. Like one of my most amazing students, when he was my first private student, he's in his 60s, and he was always singing for many, many years, but
Hmm.
he just found like there was something missing. And then he dove in and he exploded. Like he's like having to say no to the bands that want him. And he's
Oh.
in his 60s. So there's never an age that
No, that was my other question. So what age do you target? I guess there is no age. You just answered the
there's,
question. You have your youngest that's 5 and your oldest is 95. That's
yes,
amazing.
yes.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, and absolutely, this is the most incredible thing. Now my oldest student is 100
Oh, okay. Wow. That's
because
great.
as the music business is picking up, I'm doing smaller gigs to, you know,
Mhm.
to pay the mortgage. So I'm
That's so
doing
cute.
gigs. I'm doing gigs at community
Okay.
centers, senior residences, retirement communities, and
Oh,
I love that too because seniors are the best audiences ever.
yes,
It's, first of
that's
all,
true.
it's a captive audience most of the time, so they
It
can't
is.
really,
You're right. No,
and
no,
they're
you're
there
right.
to see me. They're not, they come to see me. So my oldest student is 100 because I started this glee club at the Steiger residence on Saint Laurent.
Okay.
So
Yes.
I'm doing the same thing that I'm doing in the elementary schools, in
Okay.
the senior,
Oh, wow.
uh, in the
That's so
retirement
fun.
houses, and it's incredible. They love it. So I'm doing, it's in their chairs,
Yeah.
but I'm doing choreography and I'm doing a vocal warm up, body warm up, and
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 they
they love it.
and they join in. They're
They
part of it.
they give me hugs. They're like, "You're the best," and I was like, "Oh, I found
Oh,
my
that's
mission."
so
I
fulfilling.
know, I love
Oh,
it. So praise the Lord and the universe and everything that I just feel like I'm having this amazing renaissance. And who knew? Like COVID did that,
right.
So
Who would have known? Exactly. You're
when
right. Well,
when
I
we're
do believe
stuck,
I do believe things happen for a reason. So we have to
absolutely.
take the best out of it that yes, COVID did happen. Yes, it hurted some businesses, but a lot of people pivoted as well and added and took a leap like you did.
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
proud of you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I am too. And but that just shows human resilience. Like when we're stuck, we if we listen to our intuition
That's right.
and just have faith in ourselves. Sometimes
Right.
that's the hardest
That's the
thing.
hardest thing is to believe in ourselves.
Yeah. But I'm really happy that I had really good mentors along the way in this later stage when I was working through stagecraft
Okay.
to help me, to guide me, to let me know, especially with the online stuff, like how to do things correctly. I mean, it's just a whole nother profession to do all
That's
that
right.
stuff.
That's right. Exactly. So do you teach any of these classes online? Is it still Zoom or no, it's all in person?
Absolutely, this is an option. I have students in Calgary. I have students in Oregon because my family's there, so
Okay,
they're
okay. Oh,
connected.
so
They're the
you
connected people
do
there.
classes online.
Yes, and if you live in the South Shore or somewhere else that you don't want to, even if you're sick and you or don't feel like driving, that's the amazing thing about Zoom now. Like it really gives us another option, which is
That's
incredible.
true. It does. It brings us options to like we could still do activities and not move around as
Yeah.
long as it doesn't get us lazy.
No, but I find it I find the Zoom classes way more intimate than I would have ever believed, and very
Okay,
effective because like I'm here just with you now, and
right.
it's seriously just like one-on-one.
That's
It's
right. You don't
incredible.
you don't you don't get
No,
distracted with the
no,
outside world. You're right. That's
exactly.
true. And okay, so we said all the pluses. Do you have any minus? Like, do you have any challenges in this kind of line of business that you do?
Absolutely, absolutely. Stepping into the role of an entrepreneur, um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it you're going to put your different pants on, your big girl pants on.
That's
So
right.
right now I'm working with a band called the Groovy Little Orchestra. So I'm stepping into a leadership role, a partnership role. So where I'm okay, like we got to do a demo. How are we going to do this? We're going to do a photo shoot. Where are we going to do it? All the logistical things about, and so there's so many millions of pieces. So the website, the demo,
Mm-hmm.
pictures, the bios, how do we edit the pictures, and then the text and the graphics, and how do we promote ourselves? So this online marketing is a whole nother thing. Like, how do you post to Instagram, to Facebook, to LinkedIn?
That's
What
right. That's
hashtags?
right.
I mean, and video editing. I mean, I can edit videos now. I have a program.
Oh, oh,
Uh, I can, do my own, edit my own music and make a film. So there's way more pros than cons, but all that to say it's a lot. It's
it
a
is a
lot.
lot, and that's why you have to, remember to take some me time. You need to disconnect sometimes. You need to recenter yourself in order to do all that. Being an entrepreneur is not that easy. It's a
Ooh.
nice title, but there's a lot that comes with it, right?
I need to
But
get an A
eventually,
team
and
like
what?
I need to get an A team like you have.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
I
coming,
do.
it's
I'm
coming.
blessed. I have a great team
I
and I have great
know
people
that
around me.
that
That's great.
helps. So
It does. It does. Eventually, you're going to
I'm
delegate.
going to have to. Yes.
Yes, and eventually you're going to see there's things you don't like doing. So when we don't like to do something, let's say like the technical part or anything else, or a bit of social
Paperwork,
media,
bookkeeping,
paperwork, the
taxes.
bookkeeping, exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. Eventually you cannot be the one man show. It's nice at the beginning and it's a snowball that's growing and it's very fruitful for your business. That's wonderful. And besides, even when you do delegate one day, you still need to know how it works.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's a big plus. Always look at the bright
Oh,
side.
yes.
All right. Amazing. So before we wrap up, because it's already the power lunch is almost done, we wanted to know what's your future dreams or your future projects. Do you have any, what's coming next in the horizon or the next coming years? What do you want
Well,
to put out there in the universe?
I'm really building the Groovy Little Orchestra now with Nick Carey and Joey Carey. It's an existing band that's been around for 20 years, but
Okay.
now as a new member, we're making it, something new. And so I really want to make that my main focus.
Okay.
Yeah, and then what I'd like to do is start working on my own show. So a solo show that I can sell to um, cultural centers, bigger theaters, because I have a lot
Okay.
of great ideas. And I'm also doing a woman's body flow workshop, which deals with the voice and the body, and I want to expand that.
Oh, that's so
And
nice.
yeah, and for stagecraft, I'd like to do a summer camp. And I really wanted to do it this summer, but it didn't work out. But it's in the process. Everything
It's in the
is
process, it's
ruminating.
in the
Yeah,
universe.
yeah,
Plant the seeds and it will happen, I'm sure.
exactly.
So remind me to tell you about the Woman Investing in Women project that I'm relaunching for fall. It's going to be in our next newsletter coming out in a week or so.
I would love to take part. I'm in whatever. Send me the information. It sounds amazing.
You're so cute. All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the time. It was great interviewing you. You're great. I love how you believe in yourself, and that's what's going to be even more successful. So
Yes,
keep enjoying. I think the key is that you enjoy what you love doing best.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm
And
talking because I'm talking about myself too. When we love what we do, there's no
it,
boundaries, there's no time frame. We just enjoying and we keep excelling.
it makes a big, big difference. And I'm so happy I met you. You're a shining star, and I
Oh,
love what you're doing too.
thank
And
you.
so I'm happy that you're in my
I
universe, and it was
am
wonderful
and proud
connecting.
to be. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Great.
you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Have a great day. Bye, Shelley. Bye.
Bye.